I'm Dave Baring, Technical Director here at TriStar, and welcome to another Ask the Expert segment. Today our question comes from the semiconductor industry, and this is a company that is designing a new piece of processing equipment, and they need high temperature polymers. And their question is simply, can you tell us what we need to be alert to as we consider our design? Well, semiconductor is kind of a unique environment for any polymer. For those who are in that business, they know that there's a lot of materials out there that have been approved over the years for semiconductor. But one of the things that you have to be alert to is what's going on in the general environment that the parts are going to be in. Semiconductor requires a huge degree of stability in terms of the thermal stability of the material. They're also concerned about ionic contamination that might actually migrate out of the polymer. One of the other areas is how the material works in vacuum if the piece of equipment that they're designing happens to be in the vacuum stream. So there's a lot of different things that can be used, a lot of different materials that can be used, and it's totally dependent on where in the process it's going to be. There's wet end processing where we're more concerned about chemicals. So in that environment, we're probably going to be going into materials such as the peaks, possibly PPS, and on the lower side, there's polyethylenes, polypropylenes that can also be used in the wet end process. Fluoropolymers are very common in that area as well because of the high degree of chemical environment conditions. And some of those can be at high temperatures, so the polyethylenes and propylenes would obviously not work in that particular area. So distinctly different situations. Gas stream, wet processing, then beyond that you've got testing, and that brings up a whole different situation because there you're concerned about static discharge, so the materials that we would be looking at for testing and for wafer handling or for carriers and things like that. In the chip end, we're more concerned about ESD type materials than we are high temperatures and stability and things like that. So the bottom line is, what type of equipment are you working with? What is the environment going to be? Most of the time we're looking really at thermal applications here. We're looking at chemical applications at high temperatures. That's really where TriStar has the most experience, is with those types of environments. But again, from the low end of the polyethylenes and propylenes, those would be for everything from cabinet pieces to parts in the washers and etching processes and chemical etching processes and things like that. We can obviously supply those types of materials as well. If you have some specific questions about which polymers to use where in the whole semiconductor process, we actually have some pretty interesting information on how and where to apply plastics in the semiconductor environment, and it talks very specifically about what materials have proven out over the years to be the best performers, and we'll be happy to work with you on that selection process. So if you have some questions directly, contact us through the Ask the Expert site. Be sure and check out our blog and visit our website and go through our video library. We have a lot of information on there about the high performance materials, which is where this type of environment would be suited. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again on another Ask the Expert.